he's a cad, and that's awesome. We knew what we were buying into.
Yeah, especially since she's not alleging, sexual assault. She's just alleging low self-esteem.
Right.
Can you imagine how much you hate yourself to let that fucking orange, Jabba you?
Well, and I, not being familiar with her oeuvre of film or, any films that may have shown her oeuvres, I don't know what she's gotten into. I know that there are plenty of weird things in the world of porn that, and, I'm no shrinking violet here, but there are things that make me go, ew.
Ew.
Yeah. And there are people who do that professionally,
Yeah.
And so I don't know, maybe, yeah. I mean, for the average person to try and imagine the self-debasement involved with agreeing to sleep with him, there are some people who like to take money for having people literally crap on their faces. And then there are people who do worse. Stormy Daniels got $130,000.
But that's for 10 months.
Oh, really? That wasn't per?
No, that was so if you break that down, just go work at a strip club like a woman who has some self-respect, go find, you know what I mean? You aren't going to clean, just gross. And he's not a generous lover. You know what I mean? A guy like that. So it's every
yeah, but would you want him to be?
Him.
I mean, there's the old joke, about the three old Jewish ladies at a diner. One of them says, the food is horrible and the servings are so small. I don't think you would want him to be a generous lover. It's ooh, look at the time. I think that's more of,
do your business.
What was it? Jane Fonda in Clute. The scene where she's in bed with a John and she's checking her watch.
Well, it's just it's so transactional, and that's how I views women. It just goes to how he's yeah. I mean, when he was talking in Fire and Fury about how his greatest joy of his life is to sleep with his friends' wives. Ew, and who are these wives? Ew, I mean, even if you got my husband on the line talking about, because he would ask about having sex with his wife, and let's say my husband was oh, it's horrible, I wouldn't, get him back by having sex with Donald Trump. I'd go find, a good-looking guy, you know what I mean? And I'd never cheat on my husband. He would never say that. He's perfect. And he's a real man, takes care of his baby. He's actually changed a diaper, unlike Donald Trump, who brags about never changing a diaper.
But he fills them.
He feels that Ivanka changes the diapers. But he takes care of his family and he works out, unlike MC Gravy Tits. I can hate him so much, man.
I'm not getting that. No. You're being kind of obtuse here, Liz. Just really let it out.
Well, I feel like I'm Josh. What are your thoughts? I feel like I'm I just jump in and start screaming gravy tits.
No, not at all. I think the whole visualization of the sexual intercourse with Donald Trump, that's what was making me silent. I was going into a weird sort of fugue state, just trying to repress it all. No, I think everything you said is true and gross, but totally accurate. He's also such a a pathological narcissist and it's so bald, it's so clear to anyone that this is someone who doesn't care about anyone or anything but himself. Mm-hmm. And it's just so depressing. He just really appeals to the worst in people. And I don't know. I'm still dealing with the visualization of the sex. It's traumatizing. Really.
Well, it's let's not move on to happier topics. Let's take that anger and disgust, and as long as we're disgusted by things, let's talk about the president's physical this week, because as we're sitting here, and there were the statues last year, the naked Trump statues. So I think we all, even as much as you've probably tried not to picture this, I think we all have a pretty good idea of what Trump looks like when he is disrobed. And I personally, because the president had his physical this week, his first as president, and his doctor said that he is in excellent health, presumably with, the understanding, excellent health for a man of his age, with no exercise, a diet that consists mostly of fast food. But, sitting here having this conversation kind of makes me think his doctor probably doesn't want to see him naked either. So it's just like the Trump physical consists of, Trump walking in, laying a stack of bills on the counter, and the doctor going, "Yep, you look fine to me."
Right.
Well, Josh and I were talking about, I'll let you let the cat out of about the spelling of the doctor's name.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just saw this story earlier that the report that came out yesterday that said Trump is in, quote, excellent health was signed by Dr. Ronnie Jackson, I guess the White House doctor, and his name was and he didn't, I guess usually doctors would write MD at the end, or whatever degrees, and he did not, it was signed Dr. Ronnie Jackson, which is pretty much the equivalent of saying signed Donald's doctor. It's
Epstein's mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, they aren't even fucking trying, man. It's because they know that their followers are so stupid that they can just be like, "Yeah, you said I'm good," and they're like,
"Right,
oh, go get him, Tiger."
It's so disturbing, But he said he's in excellent health. Stop short of saying fit to serve or otherwise, presumably.
Well, that did not come from his doctor.
Oh no.
That did not.
As someone with an honorary doctorate of my own, I question his doctor's credentials and or capabilities at this point. I mean, I am, I think, more credible looking as a doctor. And that, on Halloween,
did you dress like him for Halloween?
No, I just dressed like, I put scrubs on, kind of wound up looking like him. But I was taking a Lyft to a Halloween party in the car going to work. I'm like, really? You think this is like a medical doctor you just got in your car? Okay, so I guess there are people who could look at Trump's doctor and see a medical professional rather than thinking, oh, are they rebooting Cannonball Run and Jack Elam's dead, so they needed someone else to play the crazy doctor in the back of the ambulance?
Kind of a deep cut for millennials.
A little bit,
Cannonball Run reference.
I thinking of myself as using outdated references. I like to think I'm giving the millennials something to look up.
Absolutely.
Well, also, a lot of things did come before, our time, and I can speak for everybody, but you should know about them. And Cannonball Run, man, like, do you like fast cars? Because they have them.
It's kind of a brilliant movie.
Exactly.
Fast Cars, the magic of Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise together.
It's really the original Fast and the Furious, I think, I like to say.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. I mean, come on. If you are so young that you are not familiar with the Cannonball Run oeuvre, wow, 3 oeuvres in one show.
Oeuvre.
Technically, that's 4th. Yeah, dude, great movie. And if you're not in LA where we are having wonderful weather this weekend, if you're back east, if you're somewhere where it's snowy and shitty, or you're dealing with mudslides or whatever, get yourself into some Cannonball Run action. It's just a lovely salve for the soul.
You're totally in the pocket of Big Cannonball.
I should be at this point. Yeah, we're going to have to send him a copy of this show and say, see, we could do this every week.
Not to toot my own horn, an expression that I always found really weird, but this week I actually wrote a fake physical exam results for Trump that went sort of viral. Like, I've seen it on like comedy sites and stuff. And if you want to hear a portion of it,
yes, sure.
Physical exam results for patient Trump, Donald J. Cholesterol level, gravy. Body fat, oh yes. Weight, Brando-esque. Eyesight, 2800 with small sun-shaped hole burned into retina. Prostate, could not bring myself to check. Mental acuity, gave patient basic wood puzzle to solve. Patient 8 puzzle. Notes, patient continually asked if I had also performed daughter's exam, and could I describe in detail. That's the gist of it. There's a little more, but...
That's awesome.
Bravo.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, someone mentioned the prostate exam portion of the physical on my page, and all I could picture was like Trump getting the prostate exam and going, 2 fingers, did I pass my vision test?
That's really funny. I wrote that, he walked in and his doctor said, all right, take off your clothes, time to check out the old shithole. And Trump goes, really? Prostate exam first? And he goes, no, just a general exam.
I love that Vicente Fox called his mouth the biggest shithole in the world.
Oh.
I love Vicente Fox. I want him and Trudeau to be like co-presidents of North America until we can get our shit together,
That would actually be kind of nice. It's, and I would have to say that if I do agree with President Fox that Trump's mouth is the biggest shithole, we don't need anything that comes out of that shithole in this country.
Amen.
So let's speak to that. Let's move on because we're talking about the president, and after last weekend's Golden Globes, cry came out from the heartland. Meryl Streep being the heartland, in this case for Oprah in 2020.
She's great.
She is.
She's great.
It was
She's
a great
inspirational.
speech.
She's an actual self-made billionaire, didn't get millions from daddy, didn't declare bankruptcy, several times, pays her workers.
Built an empire.
Built an empire, an actual empire that people want to be a part of, instead of just like tricked and lured here, and then a wall closes behind them that wasn't there before. Yeah, she's brilliant. I would prefer President Kamala Harris, President Kristen Gillibrand, or President Elizabeth Warren.
Whoa! You mean someone with political?
Yeah, I think that would be good. And as the Veep, I like Adam Schiff or Representative Swalwell, who's good looking too. So those self-hating women who are like, "There's no way I'd ever vote for a woman." Who is that? You'd be able to hook them in. The girls who are like, "Oh, I just don't." There's something about Hillary I just don't trust, because they're gonna have that shit on on refrain. Unless they learn their lesson. Who knows? Maybe some of them did, but then they'll be like, "Oh yeah," kind of like what was it at the DNC, the guy who plays the president on the Olivia Pope show. Scandal. He got the biggest standing ovation of that night, because it's chicks are like, "Oh, a good-looking guy, put him in a suit," and I'll vote for him, but some of them vote for Donald Trump, but that's just because they hate the vaginas. So yeah, that's where I sit. That's where I sit on that. What do you think?
In terms of Oprah running? Or
in terms of Oprah, and then, what would be your ideal pick so far?
Obviously, I always have to go with Gallagher, but that's been a long time dream.
Time coming?
Yeah. I don't know if he's qualified. It's just something I've always envisioned. But
the union
exactly. Smash. No, you're totally right. It's she would be a far better choice of a celebrity president than the current one, but she has a little bit of baggage. The whole thing with introducing a bunch of quacks into modern society, like Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, is problematic. But that said,
I think we're kind of getting to the issue that Oprah is great, but she is not a politician. And I think a lot of people, we're learning our lesson. It is a worst case example of what happens when you elect someone who's not a politician. But I'm not talking about politician in terms of campaigning ability, which Trump had, Oprah obviously has, but it's the actual knowledge to do the job. Oprah has spent a great portion of her adult life trying to make people want to be better, trying to make the world a better place. sometimes through dubious means, as you mentioned, Josh, like Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz. Again, I have a doctorate. But